Nice. It's live, right?
Yes.
Okay. Woo! Okay. Today we have figured out multiple casters, screen sharing. Everything's fancy today.
Small improvement from yesterday.
Okay. Yeah, and thanks to Julie for attending my live test earlier, which was incredibly embarrassing. But she was there for it.
Also, the one
Okay.
with my child. So fun.
I didn't see that one. Let's make sure that we're sharing this to the group, first of all, because this is on the page, correct?
Yes.
So let's start there, and then I'll do a little intro once we've done that. Remember what I told you about typing?
I have to. Okay, share the group.
Okay.
I should check. I'll use my phone to check so I'm not typing loud again.
So I don't think I can see like who's here using this new software, which is kind of a bummer for me.
I know. That's okay. If anyone's playing along and getting to build custom blocks with us, I'm happy.
Me too. Oh, cool. We got a comment.
Hi, Christopher.
Okay, I see it in the group. So I say we get started. I'll do a little intro. I'm trying to find, I want to share a link later, so I just want to make sure I have that link. Okay.
All right, so
Okay.
Can we start our intro?
Yes, let's do it.
What's Feature Fest?
Okay, so just as a reminder for anyone that didn't attend yesterday or you're just chiming in, Feature Fest is just 10 days of us building a theme live with whoever shows up to do it with us. It's like an interactive experiment, and I'm pretty excited about it.
Okay, so that's the dev side of things. But more importantly, if you want a good deal on the only theme that's built for bloggers and you're going to get the best lifetime price, then you want to snag this theme as soon as you hear about Feature Fest because prices increase every single day.
Yes, Hannah convinced me that we needed a lifetime discount, and I'm like, I don't like lifetime pricing, but we're doing it. So lifetime pricing, all 10 days, kind of exciting, hoping people love it. So let me tell you about what the theme is, and Hannah will then translate my dev speak again. So essentially, we're creating a child theme on top of another theme that we create called Creator, just to really can make a lot of confusing words there, but it's a block theme. So WordPress core, like block functionality is what we're building this with. Today, we're going to actually like dive into WordPress and create these new blocks that will be combined into the creation of a theme. So it's kind of like getting a custom theme or one that's on any other platform. When I say platform, I mean like Cadence or Divi or Elementor or Beaver Builder or whatever like that, except for instead of using a plugin for like external blocks that are maintained by some other company, we're using completely as much as possible like WordPress core that's built and managed by their team or all the volunteers that make up WordPress.
Okay, so Creator Theme is built for primarily bloggers, but you can use it for small businesses and things like that. We're going to have like normal templates, landing pages, about pages, whatnot. So it can be applied to other concepts, but it was built to manage a ton of content, right?
Yes.
Okay. And we are optimized for...
What's the answer?
Site-building ads. We already know
publishers
are asking for. So we're able to ensure that your font sizes are right. We look at a lot of accessibility. Lauren discussed a lot of technical stuff yesterday. It was so boring. My eyes were crossing, going through like the different types of colors that play well, what size things should be, how different elements on your site interact and where they should be located based on heat maps. So there's a lot of expertise that goes into Creator Theme, and it's built specifically for bloggers. So I guess we should dive into who are we and why do we think we're the best person to build this theme?
So we've been working with food bloggers or any online publisher for over 10 years. And we've done a lot of different types of technology. Mostly we did a ton of custom code on top of Genesis, which I did love for a long time. But the block editor is just so much easier. It's so nice. Like I had so many people that were worried about switching to it just for the main editor. And then once you use it, you're like, this is way easier than I thought it would be. I can do so much cool stuff. And so I feel like now, like when we can translate that into this bigger picture of full site editing and block themes, it's going to be way more exciting. And so people are kind of nervous about it, I think, or they don't know about it. But we've done so much with themes that I feel confident and excited about sharing this with more people.
So Lauren runs the techie side of things. Obviously, she's the code wizard and she can make anything happen. I will say, having played a small role, I'm primarily just Lauren's hype girl. I am not techie at all. The former custom themes that people really loved and that a lot of the industry is still clinging to had a lot of templates, a lot of limitations, and you had to wait on a developer and ask for help in order to make changes. Whereas Creator Theme and full site editing means that someone like me, Joe Schmo off the street, can just walk up and actually change out colors, change out content, swap out the layout. It's really powerful. And it's not just built for developers. It's built for the content creators that are in the weeds doing everything on the site day in and day out. So you are ideally saving a ton of time and money on maintenance, upkeep, and consistently refreshing your blog by swapping to a theme like this. Okay. I guess the next question. You wrote this one. This is all you. You're muted.
I didn't hear the question. It like, you said the next question and then it went silent. And I don't know.
That was just my awkward verbiage. I was saying you wrote this question, so you've got to read it, but I guess I'll read it for you.
What is the question? Said,
why Feature Fest?
I love when you embarrass me. Okay, cool. Why did I want to do Feature Fest? I just wanted to share that I am super excited about this, and that like the reason I wanted to do Feature Fest, Hannah and I do things for different reasons, but we always get excited about it together. And my reason is just that I want to build excitement. Like I feel really excited for block themes, but I also feel like it's hard to get other people excited or tell people about it. Like they don't understand it. And so I was thinking like by doing this stuff live, that there'd be this whole different type of view where I'm not having to like translate stuff from like developer to marketing speak, but like you can just kind of like, we can do it together and figure it out. And that people would get to see like this whole other side that they probably wouldn't have otherwise. So my reason for doing it is like, I want people to want block themes. I want them to stop using older stuff that I will leave unnamed. and move into the present. And I want to help them feel comfortable with that. So I'm going to kind of go do an overview of what I want to accomplish today. I think everything's going to start moving really quickly once I start to get into things. So just to kind of like prepare of what's going to happen for the next hour and 15 minutes, I am going to screen share and I'm going to style a bunch of blocks. They are the things that we picked out yesterday. So we built the mood board. I will screen share that as well as I'm comparing back and forth. I'm going to move pretty quickly. So I think that there's definitely a possibility that things look like overwhelming and we don't know what's going on. So what I want from everyone that is attending and possibly participating is for you guys to provide feedback if I'm doing something and you're like, what if we change this color? Can you make another one that's the secondary color? Ask any questions you have. I know that that is probably one of the more overwhelming things at this point, so you don't really have to. We're going to do, like, this is super foundational, but we're going to do stuff like this subsequent days. Or I'll drop a link in here. This is how you can clone the site that I'm going to be working on. And if you want to just like click around and do stuff, you can. So that link there will clone what I'm starting with, and you can start from the exact same place. What I'm going to do is start with probably, well, when I share my screen, you're going to see that there's some stuff that's already part of Creator Theme, which is the base theme that we use for all of our custom sites right now. It's a very small block theme, and it lets us it sets up some starter patterns. It has like some base styles and stuff like that. I've already created a child theme that adds in our color palette that we picked yesterday and the fonts, styles, like has a couple little buttons for styling, not page headers, sorry, post titles and links and stuff like that. So you'll already see that there's some stuff in there, but we're going to like super extensively build that out. Like Creator on its own, very plain. We're going to make something very stylized and specific. So we're going to get into that. And I'll try and explain that as I go. So I'm going to just hop into things, Hannah, unless there's something that you want to ask me before I like really nerd out.
No, I'm always excited to see. This is one of my favorite things to do with clients now that we've swapped over to Creator Theme, is watching you hop in and customize everything. Plus, I always learn something whenever you're doing this in front of me that I wouldn't even know to ask about.
Okay, well, I will ask you guys to stop me and provide suggestions or ask questions, because otherwise I will like just get into the details, into the weeds, and I will just go on and on and on, and I might start rambling. So let me share my screen. Cool. Okay. All right, so this is the mood board from yesterday. I went ahead and locked it so we can't, well, other people can't edit it now. And I just taped off of this because I'm going to show you, I started the staging site and it already has some blocks that I set up just to like get our initial styles down. So based on the mood board and the discussions we had, I implemented the fonts and colors, and I just made really one block, and then I styled it 4 different ways. So this is the one block. It's got a pre-heading, like subheading here, our actual title, room for a description. I try and make sure I have this on all blocks because SEOs really like to have that extra text area. This is going to be a query loop, so these are pulling it automatically. And I'll show you what this looks like in the back end. And then we have a button that can link to wherever we want. So this is just like my initial, like, here's kind of what the whole site is going to look like as a basis. Then we've got just colored versions of that. So all this is it's got a light blue background added. Otherwise, it's exactly the same. Here, we just changed the button to the pink. So a little bit of variation. And then this next one, light pink background added, and then this background of the text here was changed to white in order to like just have a little more contrast. So let me start by showing you how I did that before I really dive into the other blocks. So in order to work with this first piece, I went in and I added, click the plus icon, go to patterns. I linked to some tutorials yesterday in the wrap-up post I did after our live. So if you're not familiar with this at all, if you're not using the block editor, definitely recommend coming in and doing this, or going into those tutorials and listening or watching those so that you kind of understand this a little bit better. But coming into patterns, going into this query loop, and then these will show previews and they have names. I inserted row posts, and this is what it looked like by default. Now, when we have this theme available for you, it's not going to look like this by default. Like the versions that we style are what's going to appear in your pattern like inserter. So this here that I restyled was just like the base creator one. And so you'll see me do this quite a few times. I'm going to take the base patterns that we start with from creator, and I am going to style them. And then later down the road in the next 8 days, we're going to end up replacing all of the initial patterns with the new ones. But I came in here, just added some stuff. I decided to come in and make this image portrait. I just clicked on, I have some preset styles. So I clicked that to style my post titles, this button, click that arrow one, and this allowed me to style this. It doesn't really look different. I think all it did was change the font weight from what's originally here. And then that's essentially like my first block. I came up here and I added in some extra stuff. I'll show you this process, but you wouldn't have to do any of these things. Add this background, gonna change the padding on it. And then in order for it to appear like thinner, looks like this. So a bit like that. Font styles. Some of this stuff, it looks a little challenging at first.
Then it just feels like common sense.
It feels like common sense, and I'm doing it the hard way because I'm doing it from scratch. So the point of today is just like to kind of show like, here's how you can do these things, and here's like what you can start with and how you can make it look nice with just these settings. Like it feels like there's not a lot of options, but once you learn how to use them, there's so many options. But like, I'm not going to give the purchasers of this theme like the base version and then you have to go do this yourself. Like it's not teaching you how to DIY this from scratch. It's definitely showing you how I am starting it, and it's going to be opinionated when you get it so that it looks really good. Okay, so this is pretty much done at this point. I think I went in and I changed the spacing a little bit between the blocks. So I just decreased that here. I left this the same. And so like this was my first one basically. And then in order to make it look like this second one, all I did, not all, but add a background color and then start adding some spacing. So there. I mean, I know it looks like, maybe it looks easier, maybe it looks really hard. It's super second nature to me. But it's going to be there. So I think that's my main takeaway at this point is I kind of want to show everything I'm doing, but also to reassure you, like, you're not going to have to do this stuff. This is for anyone who's interested in it. So I'm going to delete that. And then I'm going to start just like going into other blocks. Is that okay?
I'm good with it. Okay. I do want to look at though, how query loop, can you look at the function of query loop within creator theme? Or for Creator Plus users specifically, like how you can filter by taxonomies and things like that. I just feel like that's so powerful. So if you want to call out like this pink block is for Valentine's Day posts, and I don't want to have to pick all of my Valentine's Day posts. So let's go filter by taxonomy and use category Valentine's Day, something like that.
Okay.
I just think that's so cool and not something that I've personally played with on other themes.
Okay, yeah. So by default, the query loop, like almost all the blocks that we use on the site are just going to be core WordPress blocks. The query loop is one of those core WordPress blocks. And then you'll see the options for it on the right-hand side primarily. I mean, there are some options in this toolbar, but they've been really good about moving more options into the sidebar. This filters is like, by default, you can come in here and you can add, like, I want this to be, let me see if I have, like I can choose to change it to different posts or to a specific category, and it will pull the most recent post from that category. So this one is just for testing purposes. It's called Count 20. So I know that there's 20 posts in that category when I'm testing it. So this is part of WordPress core. You don't need anything extra to do this, but we do have a couple plugins installed on the site that you can test if you want to, that I think make it a little more powerful. So we've had times where people want to like show all of their categories except a certain one. So like sometimes that's like lifestyle or like blogging, business, like maybe all of their posts are recipes except for this one category. If that were the case, then we can say exclude. And then now it's going to show me all posts except for those from these categories. Or I could say, that I want it to be except from posts from these two categories. And then we also have this overlap, which now means it'll only show posts that are from both the first category and the second, or however many you list. So by default, like include means if it's in the first category or the second category, like that's just how the query loop works. But we have options here to change how that happens. And this is pretty niche. Like not a lot of people need this, but definitely if someone's going to need it, it's going to be bloggers that have, 56 categories or more.
Yeah.
Exclude current posts. This is really good if you're using a query loop inside of a post. So let's say you're saying, here are my most recent salads. And there are going to be times when the post that's inserted in is one of the most recent salads. So I could turn this on and then that most recent post wouldn't show. This isn't going to work on this homepage. So doing it here isn't going to change anything. But if you were inside of a post that was then querying posts similar to itself, this could be really helpful. Okay. And then I don't think we have it installed right now. But we have another plugin which I will get installed, which is called Post Selector for Query Loop or something like that. And that one will let you choose exactly which posts you want in the order you want them. So that one's super helpful. That one's available for free on the WordPress repository, and we had only installed our paid ones. And some of ours are also free. Takes forever to get it onto the WordPress repository. So I'm going to reset all of that logic. It's just pulling the most recent 4 posts again. And then I'll start styling another block, unless Hannah, you have another question for me.
No, but I think I do want to go back to the mood board to figure out like what are we picking? What are we building? I want to see our inspiration and then watch you build it. Can you show me a before in the process and then?
Okay, so this was the first thing I built that you can see. This was just like, I wanted to have posts that had an image, and then underneath I wanted the title, and I didn't want to have like a background or a shadow or anything because I wanted it to feel like pretty open. And I feel like that is accomplished here. So this one, I just put this little tape over to say, okay, we've done that. As far as what's next, I was thinking maybe doing some sort of grid like this. I feel like the query loop to do more of those would be pretty easy. So maybe this like longer piece, or I was thinking about doing some of these like text-based ones.
I like text-based.
Okay.
I know.
Do you want to do this bio? Do you want to do a call to action?
Build our pretty bio. I want to be like Noelle.
I want to be like Noelle. Okay. I'm going to make you look just like Noelle.
Thanks.
Okay. We're going to do pretty bio. I'm just going to this is what we're working on. Okay. So looking at it, could use media and text or columns. Like I need an image on the left and text on the right, title, description, buttons after that, but we'll obviously want to style them similar to our buttons and social underneath. Hers is really colorful. We're probably not going to go that colorful with ours. We might do it in a different way. And then, of course, she has this hey friend over here. This is an image, so we're definitely like, there's a couple ways you could do it, but I don't recommend doing it in a lot of situations. Using an image that is text is going to be not very accessible typically. And I find that it's a little hard to make it accessible in blocks.
Can we use overlay cues, or do we just have to pin this for the final?
I would just pin it for now.
Okay.
Usually what you could do is you could just add it into the image that you're uploading. I don't really love that either because, again, it's not accessible. But if you wanted it, you could do that. I would find another way to make it feel like artsy and fun without having it be text-based. So like we could do like an icon or something like that and try and get it over there. Okay. But it is a little harder. So when I say try and get it over there, it's like once I set it up, you probably won't want to move it. Like you'll just change the icon. But if you want to move it, it's going to be a little more fragile. Okay. Wrong way. Okay. So I do have a pattern that's at least I could start with. So creator, these are all like the default patterns. Just to explain the categories, custom is going to be like most of the text-based ones. Heading is going to be anything that has a heading that's already set to an H1. So those are meant to be like the first block on your page before you use any other headings. And then query loops are going to be anything that actually like pull and post. So at least like you might see blocks that look the same inside of custom and query loops, but how they pull content differs. And I feel like that's important. So let's start here with custom, see if I can get these previews to load. This call to action is probably pretty close to what we want. A lot of these are like manual grids. So we're going to start with this. Cool. And then look at customizing that. A lot of scroll happening. Okay, I don't want there to be a background on it personally. And I do want it to be grouped. So I'm going to just change the structure. You don't really have to worry about it, but I'm going to. Sorry, rename. I know we're not in the right spot here.
I've definitely never named anything in my outline before. It makes so much sense. It always just says group.
I use this like when they added this feature, I was just so excited. I'm like, you can name, you can just stay so organized now. And I like group stuff specifically so that I can like name it and everything is a top level group. Yeah, it's a whole thing I do now. And when you have patterns saved to your site and you insert that pattern, it inherits the name of that pattern, which is also, in my opinion, very helpful.
Yeah, Lauren is really big on formatting. I'm good at creating chaos.
Yes,
but that was really satisfying to watch you rename that.
Did you get this just for my bio?
Maybe.
Thank you.
I mean, I was thinking more of like a cookbook or a course, but sure, your bio.
Okay, well, this bio is going to work. All right, we're going to pull Latin text. I know people hate it, but it's just so easy.
Is it?
To copy and paste Latin text. Maybe not to follow my screen as I move. Okay. Okay, we're almost there. We're going to style this stuff in a second. We're getting everything added.
Cool.
Social, Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram.
Already colorful. Look at us.
Okay, well, that's because those are like the default colors. We're not going to leave the default colors, Hannah.
Why not?
Should we crop that to fill for now? I think it makes me feel better.
Yeah.
I lied. It does not make me feel better. Let me see what I've got on here so far. Okay. This will be learn more. This will be start here. Okay, so first off, I'm going to click, I mentioned this earlier, this button that it says transform to default button plus an arrow. Yes, this one has an arrow already, but I want my buttons to have just like a bolder font weight. So clicking that will just improve it. I'm going to decrease my spacing between my buttons. We'll start with that. And I have to add links to these so that they show up. We're going to decrease spacing on these as well. Maybe even more. Do something like that. And then I think I want to make them very light. Is that too light?
Mm-hmm.
What about pink? Can I get away with pink?
I kind of like the pink. But can you go back to the styles? I liked the pill shape, different options.
Oh, she wants different options now.
Not me. Okay, let's see.
Pill shape?
Them all on one line?
Well, it depends on the size of the name. So they'll automatically fall onto one line when the screen gets smaller.
Okay. I think I actually liked default better, but thanks for going through that with me.
Of course you did. Okay. How are you feeling about this?
I need them centered.
You want them centered. I do not like your tendency to center things.
I get bothered by everything being left aligned when I'm viewing things on my phone. Lauren does not appreciate this preference of mine. You can left align it.
It looks silly.
That's your expertise. It just looks silly, but you have no. You're not going to spout some fact and send me to some legal website that tells me why users don't actually like.
Well, of course, people read left to right, and for accessibility, centering things is going to be harder to read. You can center smaller amounts of content. So like, is this going to be a problem if we center it? Probably not. But I feel like it just looks centered weird because this is left aligned. Am I going to center these now? Yeah. And then if we center that, do we have to center this? Because that's just not accessible.
All of it. And look how pretty that is. Thank you.
All right, let's save it and look at it. I can live with it.
I think the image needs to crop.
You want it shorter?
I think so.
Okay, so I agree. There's times when I like to have this image crop because it just like kind of puts everything in line. And I feel like to an extent, it makes it more expected for people who are working on it. But what can be hard about this is if you're uploading an image and you need more of it to show, or you wanted it to be smaller, but then like you kept writing text and then your image got really tall.
Yeah.
Oh, and now we really can't see anyone at all.
Say less.
So it's definitely something to just like be aware of.
Yeah.
This image and text block is a little bit weird. What I really want is for there to always just be a little bit of space, top and bottom. But let me show you what that ends up looking like. Like, I just want there to be a certain amount of space, right? But what that'll look like on mobile is this is like more space than expected right here.
I think it looks fine.
There's like a small amount. You think there'd be a small amount, but there's more. I don't think it's bad, but there's like workarounds for that are maybe just too complicated for right now. So I'm not going to do that, but I think this is a good first block.
He's cute. Not as cute as Noelle, but you know.
It's not as cute as Noelle's. She's got all these colors that we don't have. And then she's got this little thing here, not to mention Noelle's just like cute, right? Her being off-centered here in the image, like I think contributes to the look of this. So let's do a little bit here. I think that we could make this look like a little nicer. Sorry, line height. We're using a pretty, that is not what I wanted, letter spacing. We're using a pretty large font. And the reason for that is because for ads is the short answer, right? I feel like that's already a little bit better. I think that larger fonts are highly readable, so I also just tend to like them personally. But I do know that larger fonts can work well with ad as well, particularly in posts. So sometimes what I'll do is like inside of posts, it'll use that default like medium font size, but then I'll make a lot of other places on the site use the smaller font, especially if it's not going to be like a ton of text. And so I feel like when we do that, sometimes we can make this look a little bit nicer. Just for the sake of it looking cute for us, I'm also going to make that headline shorter. Okay, but you see how this image is getting a little small now? We're like literally having to use content to make the image more along the lines of what we want it to be, which is not terrible, but I wish it wasn't necessary.
Can we give the buttons borders? Can we give them some pizzazz?
Oh boy.
You can tell me no. No is a complete sentence. We can. You don't want to.
Let me take you back to this. Solid background, no border.
You gave me rules. Thanks. You're no fun.
I think that what we could do to make the buttons look a little more interesting is play with typography for them.
Okay.
And I thought about doing that at first, you know, when I asked you to review my blocks before the live started. So thank you for now deciding you don't like the buttons.
I never said that.
So let's play with the buttons because we can. And I feel like I can create blocks later, but if this is what is like helpful, let's do it.
I don't know that it's helpful.
I'm not hating on you, Hannah. We can always add borders. I don't think I want to do that in this theme. I will show that once you're playing with this theme, what you can do, I'm inside of edit page, but if you go to edit site, you can come in here and change everything. So here's where you change out the fonts that I have set. You can add your own. You can change out what's here. Here's how you change the colors. So they're literally just called like, I have it called pink here. I can come in here and I can change like what these are. It looks like I can't change the name of it, sorry. But you can also add your own down here. And I normally, these are normally just called like primary light, secondary light. This gray is technically our tertiary. They're generic names, and then you can change them to whatever color you want. So maybe I'll change them not to pink and I'll change them to primary light so that when people come in and change it, it's not confusing. And then when you're in here, you can see button. Like this is the text and background. These are for elements, so I'll show you, you can actually go in and change the borders as well. But like, just to show us, you're changing everything. Okay, so let me pull up the style guide. Let's see, where's button at? Okay, here are buttons. First, I'm going to show you how to change the buttons, and then I'm going to tell you why it's a pain to change the buttons. I am so sorry. Okay, so first of all, we're going to go into blocks, come into here, and you can change out what a button will look like. So I can say that I actually want my buttons to all be pink by default, and I want them to have dark blue text, and I want them to have a 4-pixel border, and that pixel, or that's going to be black, and then the radius should be like 8 pixels. Like, I can make all my buttons look like this by default. So super cool. Love this, honestly, about block themes. I would not, this is where buttons kind of suck. There's an issue with buttons where if you change the settings for some of like the font weight and the typography and stuff for your buttons, you can't override it later. So if you want to change how a button looks in a specific block, the typography stuff is pretty hard to overwrite. Love this. That's definitely an error I made. I'm gonna have to fix. So typography is one place where I wouldn't change stuff. I would do it per button, which is why I have like the way I click to style a button. So you can do it from here. It just might be a little bit of a pain later. Why did I get off topic with this? You asked to change buttons and I said no.
Yeah, so something that you've done on a few custom sites that I really like, and I thought that our color palette works well for it. Whenever you have like a dark pink and a light pink and you do like the coordinating colors for that button and it's a two-tone, I just think that's so pretty. I love it. So I wanted you to show everyone how pretty it can be, but we cannot touch your buttons. It's fine. The next child theme can have two-tone buttons with that light and dark color scheme. It'll be okay.
All right, let's look at what that looks like. This one, pretty. I feel like this is too much. What if we do it the other way?
Yeah.
I'm not sure our color palette like really works for this.
Okay.
Let's try it with the pink real quick because I know the pink colors are a little bit closer. No, I feel like it would need to look a little bit different. Having borders on buttons also is a little bit different for like hover effects and things. So I think that would be a little bit too advanced right now to do a border. But I do think we can make it look a little bit more fun by stylizing it. And we're going to do it here in the design palette, but like I will move this stuff later so that it's easier to work with. So if we did like this serif and then we forced it to be lowercase and we made it italic. I love how that's messed up. I feel like this is really fun. Do you like this better? You don't like it at all? Really? I love this so much more.
Keep it.
We are such opposites.
We are always opposite.
Okay, what if we just look at it here? You don't like that more?
That looks nice.
You're just saying that because I put you on the spot.
Pretty much, yeah.
Why did this get a border around it? What did we do that messed up borders?
It's all my fault. Okay, we've got to move on to the next custom block. I'm sorry.
What are you talking about? This is so helpful.
No.
Okay. I was like, I'm not doing a feminine theme. And this theme gets more and more feminine by the second.
It's so cute. I like it.
We'll have to do like a whole tutorial on how to unfeminine this theme. Okay, I want to add something to this. I know you said we're okay here, but I'm going to add something to it to make it look a little more fun. I think the buttons look a little more fun. I think that the smaller text helps it.
Yeah.
I feel like the title is like so-so. And I'm tempted to add like an icon above it or to put an icon over here. But, you know, it'll be easier to manage it if we just do the icon above it. So let's look at how we can do an icon. Do I have any uploaded? No. I think I mentioned this yesterday and I didn't get to it. So we're going to talk icons. So I know that we talked about having blocks that use icons, and we can actually do icons pretty easily with anything Gutenberg, anything block editor. You don't have to have a block theme to do it. You have to have a block theme to be able to use a lot of the like header, footer, starting patterns, things like that potentially. But what I recommend for using icons is that you add a new plugin and you search for SVG. You can do this with any image, but I add SVG support and I use SVGs because essentially instead of having to upload like a giant line art that you scale down so that it looks crisp, you upload a single size line art that scales infinitely. But in order to actually upload an SVG file, you have to install a plugin because it is not allowed by default. So we installed SVG support. I am going to get my icons from Font Awesome. You can purchase icons online from Etsy or Creative Market or wherever you get icons at. But I will just go here and we're going to do something simple. We're going to do a heart. Okay, so for the heart, you can see there's all these different options. Some of them are loading very slowly. You have to pay for Pro to download these other versions. Really, if you pay for Pro, you're getting like this is like light maybe, and then this one is thin, something along those lines. These definitely make a difference for some designs. And I do technically have Pro, but just to show you that you can use it without like paying for anything, we're going to download this SVG file. It just downloads the file directly. I come in to edit this homepage. I need to refresh since we installed that SVG plugin so that I can upload this media type. Here we are. So media library, I'm going to upload a file. It is heart solid. And then it's going to be giant, guys. Hello, I am a heart. Okay. Here, so when I have these blocks prepared, it'll already have like an image placeholder that has the correct settings for it. So when you replace this icon with another icon, you won't have to do all of these settings that I'm doing. But whenever I use an icon, I set it to square and contain. The reason I do this is because they aren't square by default. And so this will make sure that I can put it in a circle that like sits behind it and it remains perfectly circular. Also so that like wide images and tall images kind of scale to be the same size. Even though they're not technically like, if I had an image that was 20 pixels and an image that was 40 pixels and I contained them to the same size, like one would look bigger and one would look smaller. Doesn't matter. Even I'm getting confused right now. I'm doing this. You don't have to. I'm going to do smaller. My flavor of OCD says that I must use 4 pixel variations for everything. So this is either 24 or 28, but it's definitely not 26. Duotone filter. Hannah, do you love that I just called myself out like that?
I didn't even know about that one, so I'm just kind of like bookmarking that for later. Note to self.
Oh.
When I make it 25, she's going to die inside.
Yes. This triangle icon is your friend, particularly for any SVGs. It's going to let you turn this image, which is currently black, to whatever color we want. So I'm going to pick a brand color. Actually, guys, I'm probably going to make it white. How boring is that? Here's this lighter gray. That's kind of nice. What if we do a light pink inside of a dark pink? Maybe that'll be nice. So here's my image. You won't have to know how to do these things, but in case you're interested, sorry, we're grouping that multiple times, putting it in a row. You have no clue what I've done, but essentially this group is where I'm going to apply the background color. You can see that there's, I would love for you to be able to see, there's a heart with a background. The reason that it is able to look like that is because of the way we've nested these things. I'm going to add a little padding, and then also I'm going to give it 100% border radius. That looks pretty good. Now my row I can center. And then I'm going to change this button. Save. Hannah, are we getting cuter?
He's cuter.
He's cuter. She doesn't love it, but she doesn't hate it.
I'm ready to move on. You lost me.
Oh no. Okay, let me close some tabs. Where are we doing next? We've done this one. How do I? We've got something for that. I don't want to do this one. I want that one to be part of a plugin day. Whoa.
Did we pull the as featured on that was requested yesterday? Like we already have that built out. That's super easy to plop in
This
there.
one?
Yeah, can we just throw that in there real quick?
Yeah.
He's easy peasy. Oh, except we don't have any of the logos.
Yeah, we don't have any logos uploaded, but I can probably get those really quickly. Patterns, creator custom. We're going to stylize pattern that already exists. Here we go. These images have to be added one by one, which is a little bit of a pain, but we're going to figure it out. We're going to do it. My drive, internal assets, brand logos, SVGs, optimized. Here we go, guys. These are the ones we're using. All right. Media library, one by one. Okay. So before this, you saw they all had this weird height. That's just because I hadn't replaced this image. They actually were all going to be this height. By default, they just come in as this black color, but because they're SVGs, and you could do this with PNGs as well, you can change them to whatever color you want. So I didn't really give us a mid-level gray. So we're probably going to have to go with like pink. You can select multiple images at once and change that color. It's a little bit much. Probably going to come back and change that later. I'm going to add more white space around them. And then we could do this in line, but I kind of prefer it to be above. So like this would theoretically be done. Do you want me to spaz it up? Spruce it up?
No.
No. She wants me to move on. Guys, I'm going to spruce these things up later, but for the purposes of this live, we're moving on.
In my attention span, most themes are not going to easily allow you to do that. The fact that this is pre-built is already, it's top notch there. I want to go see the one where you can put like 3 services, 3 products, the one that offers 3 features. Okay. Someone requested that, and that's another one that I feel like we can just knock out real quick using creator patterns.
Okay. Are you picturing like the text only or like an image one?
That one. Just threw my pen.
Reader favorites. This is really the same as this.
I want reader favorites. Don't know why it makes me happy, but he does.
Okay, let's make something. So first up, patterns, custom. Do I have anything I can start with? I believe I do.
You do.
Okay, manual alt right here. That one's already got the images.
It's already got a background.
It does already have a background. We're probably not going to keep that though.
I'd hate for you to
we're going to change this.
Box. She just has to show everyone how fast she is at clicking around.
I click so fast, y'all. Oh, you can't have a white. Well, that was goofy.
Yeah.
Do I get rid of the border? What am I doing with my life? I don't want the border. Okay. I only have to style one of these because I can either copy and then paste my styles, or because there's no content in them yet, I can literally just delete them and then duplicate this. So with that in mind, we're going to put some text in here and then play around with it. Hannah hates me.
I am going to create a new file of dummy text for you that's not Latin for my own purposes.
There's actually a different page in this site that I was playing with that has I was trying to write out text, but like, I'm not going to try and write out text live. That's got to be more boring than watching me struggle through whatever I'm struggling through. Okay, we're adding a button. Get the recipe.
Woo. Except, what is that recipe? Can you pronounce that?
No. Doesn't matter. This is definitely, so we're gonna do a thinner line height. Just a little. Yeah. We've got get the recipe. We talked about having the images kind of pull off, and we haven't done that anywhere yet, so I think we should do that here. This is also way too long.
Can you define images pull off?
Yeah. Yeah, I figured I would just show you, but remember how we talked about having the images like higher than the background?
Yes. Oh, that makes me happy. Okay, cool. I need to learn this.
Okay, we're gonna make one longer than the rest just to demonstrate what happens, what it looks like when you do that.
So as a content creator, this is your nightmare, not the developers.
Yes. I mean, it's a nightmare when you ask me if I can fix it, and I'm like, no, you have to change the content.
I just have to use less words, and it hurts my heart.
Okay. So this is something, moving these images is something that requires, yeah, I'm trying to figure out how I want to say this. I'm going to do something that isn't super like intuitive with blocks in order to make this happen. And that's because I want this to be a really stylized theme and have this feature. But it requires a little bit of like developer knowledge to make this happen. So there's definitely going to be cases where things aren't supported by WordPress yet because they're trying to figure out how they're going to make it work. And we are going to use a very specific way that we know will work. The WordPress like core developers have to think of everything we could possibly break and try and work around it. And I'm only going to let this work in a very specific use case. So no secrets to pull images higher. And so now I just have this image pulled off just a little. And then remember how I said I could copy styles? I'm going to do that so that the other images are pulled off just a little. I must have this page open multiple times. I do not like this right here. We are going to have to fix it.
Yeah, he's going to move later. You don't want to raise them just a little bit more?
I absolutely will. Would you like me to raise them more, sweetheart?
I'd like them to be more like 50-50.
Okay, so we can't do exactly 50-50 because that's too much requirement. That's too much math, but we can get it closer.
Okay. Did you like my song?
I didn't hear it.
Oh, it was so good.
Was it though? Okay, let me show you why this isn't 50-50 in a second. Wrong way.
Oh, you're going to show me math. Boring.
Okay, so it's not exactly 50-50, right? It's closer, but it's not 50-50. I also want you to look at it on mobile. It's more obviously not 50-50 here. And that is because of math.
I think you were right the first time. You need to just click back and move on. Your first iteration looked better.
You'll see it even less on mobile though. Well, you can still, I think it looks fine personally.
Yeah.
You like this more now?
I think so. I don't know. I'm overthinking this. Don't let me get stuck on it.
Yes, you are. Okay. I'm probably going to spruce all these things up later, but this is a good starting point. I personally like this background. I like the white on it. I feel like it goes with the aesthetic that we're working on. We're pulling these images off just a little bit. And then this does at least do a good job of demonstrating that if you want all of these to line up, if that's your flavor of OCD, then you have to write titles and descriptions that make that happen. Having like
when you change screen sizes.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm not just talking about like mobile. This is going to look different. So now see, these two are on the same line, but this one's not. So 1024 is about the last place before it like will really collapse in some areas. And so it's going to change. So you kind of just have to kind of live with it, but you can certainly give it your best. It is something to be aware of. Some people really, really are bothered by that. And I get it because all of my numbers need to be a multiple of 4. Like when I change the volume on the TV. Which was really good because when I went and visited Hannah's kids, they were like, "Can you turn it up 1 more?" And I was like, "What do we think about 4 more?"
Yeah, they appreciate that. Personally, I would like the volume at 8 at all times.
Could we group the title description button and adjust the alignment or justification on that group? What group? This here? Can we group the title description and this and adjust the...
So either make everything left or center align. He's asking you to center up.
So like if we grouped just these and then have the space between, I think is maybe
okay.
Because this is inside of a stack.
Okay.
Okay, so inside of here, if I group these and then I tell it to stretch items. Hold. This is getting too complicated. I want to make a short answer note.
This is her homework after we're done with this live.
Right? I feel like I'm going to have so much homework before tomorrow's live. Yeah. Christopher, you're getting too fancy. There are some things you can do. Well, there are some things you can do to like have this justified towards the bottom. So the buttons are at least on the bottom. But it gets a little weird because then when you're on mobile, like there won't be the right amount of spacing here. Like things like that happen. So if it's about the spacing between these 3, I think that gets a little bit too complicated. If we wanted to add like a little more spacing between the image and the title, that's definitely something we could do. But I'm just hesitant to spend that amount of time on it today. Now, when you come back tomorrow and the blocks all look different, you'll know that I did, in fact, overthink all of the design elements.
These things haunted you all night.
Oh, you know what? We don't have our stars.
Where's our pretty title? Does he live yet?
We have this title.
He's so pretty. Okay.
I know you don't mean that, but I appreciate you trying anyway.
I did.
Okay, let's talk about pretty title for a second because we're going to have to, I want this theme to look nice. And I want the people that purchased it to be excited about it because I want them to tell their friends so that more people use block themes and more people take advantage of this deal so they can get this and play with it and try it. So actually, I just realized I need to do this. Okay, forgive me.
And there are performance reasons behind block themes too. So other classic templated themes, page builders, not only are you like trapped, you can't maintain or handle upkeep, but who was the client? Was it Peanut Butter and Fitness? Like once she moved her content over to the block theme, her revenue, doubled? Her monthly revenue doubled.
She almost doubled her revenue.
And it's just because users are seeing like, I think the content is broken up more. It's a lot prettier. You're able to take information in a post and just make it this really compelling landing page that before was a sea of text that no user wants to look at. I certainly am not going to scroll through a sea of text, but you can break up all of your content and make it so much prettier with these block themes. Sorry.
So what I'll do is I don't know that I want to add a script font necessarily, but I hear you that you feel like there's some sort of embellishment that's missing. and I'm going to play with that and see what I can do.
Okay.
So I feel like these are like kind of interesting, but when we're getting into these other blocks, we're looking for just like a little bit more. And maybe that means an additional font, or maybe it means some additional style element, because I wanted to keep it clean. So I didn't want to do drop shadows or a lot of borders or something like that. But then maybe it's looking a little too plain. So I will look into that. We're just going to keep kind of like moving forward, and I will iterate on these, and we'll try and make it look a little bit fancier.
Cool.
So I'm going to leave this one where it's at right now, and we'll start a new one. But I didn't add the stars. Can I just add the stars? It's going to make me really happy to just add those, because I'm literally just going to use emojis. I'm just going to, oops, put those in here. And it's so easy. And now we have stars. Like, we did not have to get fancy with that at all. I could have used SVGs here and then like colorized them and everything, but honestly, look how easy that was.
So cute.
Thanks. I think you might even mean that this time.
I did.
Okay, I think maybe we do this one next, because there's so many ways to do this one, and I always have fun with it. Yeah?
Yes.
When I'm looking at others. Okay. So this one happens to be 8. I think we're going to do 9 in a row. I'm even wondering, no, we'll do it from scratch. Okay. So here, patterns, custom. This one right here, feature images and manual circles, very similar to each other. I think I'm going to go with feature images. I don't even think both are like necessary, but I think this one will be just a little bit easier for me to start with. They are pretty much exactly the same, except for they're styled a little differently. Don't worry, Hannah, I got you. Let me put in some Latin text for you.
The example doesn't even have text.
I'm going to add text to it because it needs it. And what about all these buttons? What do you think? Those buttons are just going to fill themselves out?
Are there any buttons in the example?
Yes, this text here.
Okay.
I'm going to fix the style of the buttons. They will look more like that text. Okay.
Ooh.
Here we go. This is what we're starting with.
2 lines.
What's that? You hate that?
That really,
yeah, that's okay. First of all, great example of what it'll look like if your content is not manually perfectly typed out and tested. So excellent that it's on 2 lines. Second of all, we'll probably just change the content. Okay, I think I want these to have the initial spacing. I want there to be 6, 7, 8, 9. For this grid, this is a plugin from Small Plugins, which is sister brand with Creator Theme that we create. It just lets me do more advanced columns than what WordPress Core allows. And once WordPress Core has like more options, then you could just deactivate this plugin. So I have it where it's going to show 9 on desktop. I have 5 on tablet, which means it'll only have 4 underneath. Decent compromise, in my opinion, for tablet. Mobile, it's going to be 3. That's why I picked 9. I feel like 3 looks so good on mobile. And then I want these images to be round and square. They're clearly not square right now. They are square. Why do you look so sad? All right, we're getting there. No, the image. I'm talking to the image, of course. Okay, these, so I showed you earlier this, like these yellow buttons up here are added by Creator, and I showed you this first one, but the other 3 are just like core Creator ones that I haven't updated the styles for yet. So I'm going to start by clicking it, but I'm still going to have to stylize it the way I want it. So by default, it's making the text like this pink color, which I definitely don't want. I want it to be black. And then it removed all the padding. It removed the background color, and it removed any border, which we didn't happen to have. So now I can copy that group. I'm going to paste the styles to all of these others. See what it looks like. I need to actually add images so we can load and look at it on the front end. Let me fix that margin. I want that on the top. Okay, let me add images. I think I'm just going to do the same image for all of them because I can cheat then. And I can copy paste it a lot of times. So let's look at what this actually views like this. I mean, I feel like that looks nice even with the double lines now because we don't have that background color.
Yeah.
The text up here is really just like perfunctory. You probably will delete it. But let's say you don't. Like, it's easier for me to include it and for you to delete it. And look, I'm even centering it.
Do we have your fun delete button? Is that on the site?
We do. We do have a content delete. I don't know how it works. Oh, no. That's the one we had to delete before the call. That's the one that should get fixed tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, we have a fun erase button.
Yes.
For when you just want to start over and put your own content in. So gratifying.
Yeah, because I have a lot of blocks that we're trying to build out blocks where they all have descriptions of how you use them. And so then it'll be easier for you to strip all that content out and add your own. Mm-hmm. I kind of like this exactly as it is. Like, I don't want to do anything fancy to this because I think that it is like very simple on its own.
I agree.
Let's look at this stuff on mobile. We haven't yet. I'm just going to switch us to, or I don't think we did. Switch us to mobile real quick. The most common screen size for mobile, I believe, is 414. And so you can see all of this. I mean, again, we're working with blocks that I'm just kind of like branding. They've already been set up to work across mobile and desktop, but they just kind of work. This has that collapse. It does have a little bit of a bigger gap here, which I don't love. I might fix that later. This one needs to be looked at so that those are 3 and 3. But then this is a newer one. They're stacking. And this one is 3 by 3 on mobile, which I love.
Nice. Yeah.
I love the look of this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. This one.
Looking at this on mobile with you because one of Lauren's favorite triggers is that if someone claims to be a mobile first developer, they're stuck in 1999 or something like that.
That is a little bit extreme. I just think that everyone claimed to be mobile first, you know, like 5 years ago. And if you're still like, oh, I designed mobile first, then like
grow up, Peter Pan.
I don't know.
It's always nice to look at your style blocks to look right.
I feel like a lot of people like to like say that they do things that are just like I take for granted now. Like, of course you're mobile first. Of course you consider accessibility. Of course you're thinking about speed. And like if you're still like touting that you do those things, like, do you do anything new?
Okay, I want either. Go.
What if we did some of the in-post ones? Like we're doing a lot for kind of landing pages, but the serving with the topping ideas, I'm thinking kind of that blue one up there. This one could even be like, we wouldn't do it as wide, but we would do something where like you need a call out in your post.
That's very landing page-ish. I want topping ideas or the tip one there, mainly because I want to see you do that.
Tip one?
Holly, scroll down. Holly's recipe.
Yeah, this is basically what I was thinking when I was doing this blue one.
Okay, yeah. I want that or the topping ideas, mainly because I really like the squares that go into either words or a picture.
The squares that go into words or
the line leading into the circle and photo.
Oh, you just love
or
that. Girl, you know we're trying not to do borders. We have no borders and we have hard corners. All right, let me work on it.
That's just what bloggers are going to want. You can make it a background instead.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to do them side by side so that you can kind of see what they would look like with a sidebar.
Cool.
This is like the way that I'm going to display them here is not actually what you would do, right? You would just insert them and they would just look right. But I'm going to do columns side by side. Okay, and then I should probably see if we have a starting point we can work with. Not really. The closest would be this call to action we used earlier. But I feel like we should just start from scratch. All of these in-post ones, that scrolling is killing me. I don't know about you guys. All of these in-post ones are like super specific to clients. So I don't think I have any patterns for those yet. Start with this. Can you guys see my dog in the background? Are you done now?
That's your favorite dog.
That one? That's my second favorite dog.
She has 2 dogs.
Yes, I do. What is happening right now? I need you to be inside of a column. And then we're going to put you in the other column. And we'll work on you guys. If you guys are curious, actually, if you go to feature-fest.instawp.xyz, you can see this page. I don't think it's hidden behind anything. So you don't have to, but have it somewhere. Okay, this one on the left is going to be the topping ideas. So we're going to make it similar to that. We're just getting all the content in there first. We need an image. We need a title. We need some text, and then we need a list.
Do we have pretty lists?
Yes, we do.
Thank you.
This is the heading. These are a list. To explain to you guys what I just did right there, in this toolbar, if you click on the icon of whatever your current block is, or if you're like, you pick a block, you'll see that icon here. You can switch to different types of blocks and it'll try its best to pull your content over. So you might have to undo it if it does not work out well. But I use that pretty frequently. So if you were watching and you saw me click and like change this from paragraph to the heading, it's just if you click on the icon for the current block, it'll show you some examples of what it's eligible to be transformed to. It does not always work consistently though, so use at your own peril. Okay, that's our content for, I'll finish this block, sorry. Okay, so first of all, we're gonna give this a fixed size and we're going to make it circular. You can technically click rounded, but I prefer to use the options when they're available. I feel like this style is pretty dated and it's just there because of legacy reasons. We need some padding for our group.
Okay.
We want this content to be stacked and remain stacked. I feel like all of the font sizes here are very geared towards like a landing page. The text in your post is going to be medium. So it's going to be that larger font size. So you could leave this as medium if you wanted it to be the same size as the rest of your content, but because it's going to be a little bit smaller, because it's going to have padding, I do often change like emphasize text to be a little bit smaller personally. And I want to do that here. I just feel like this title is really large. Make that just a little bit smaller. It is going to be wider on a fuller screen. And of course, like it's going to be 730 pixels at the largest screen size is what we currently have the content width set to for ads. So it'll still be a little bit larger than this, but this is a good enough demo. And then to get these side by side, there's a couple ways I can do it, but I think the easiest is going to be to use columns. So because I have 2 items, I can actually use transform to columns, which is very convenient for me. And then I'm going to change this column to have that negative margin that I set up and other people can use. Margin left, negative. Might do a little bit more. I'm going to have to double check if this is doing what I want it to do. But this is a good start. Let's just see what that looks like on the larger screen size. Yeah, that looks real goofy right here. So let's apply it to all of this. Ooh, it looks like that doesn't want to work. I guess we're going to have to do it the other way. All right, ungroup. We are going to set this to be a row so that it's side by side, but then we have to do some fancy stuff over here. We need that image to be pulled to the left, which does work as expected, but I also want to say flex shrink 0, which is a custom class that I use specifically for things like this, where this class, you don't need to know this, but I'm telling you anyway, will make sure that your image does not get smaller when your text gets larger. And then I do want the image to be aligned at the top. So that's going to work as expected. I think I'm going to add a little more padding to the top and bottom and make this header a little smaller.
I wish we could like break the text out from under it. I don't know if it makes sense.
You want it to wrap?
I just feel like it's kind of funky pushed off to the right, but I'm sure the moment that you move it, I'll be like, oh no, that was a mistake. Yeah, proceed.
I don't think you'll like it wrapped. I don't think you'll like that. I'm going to make this image smaller. And the gap. Now I don't like the padding anymore. I think I like the title size now that I changed everything else. Okay, so this would be, and I'm going to change the title size. I am so sorry, guys. This would be an example of how you can do a like tools needed or something like that, topping ideas, anything, and then have a list underneath. We'll style that list in a second. You can see that her image is pulled out a little bit, and I did the same thing on ours. If you look at it on mobile, it's still going to have that image pulled out a little bit, and the text will be off to the right. So I'm not sure that I'm going to love it on mobile, but it definitely still is legible. You can still read this. And it does touch right there along the side of the screen. So if that's going to give you the heebie-jeebies, be aware when choosing this block. For the list, let's style this real quick. Hannah really likes pretty lists. Another plugin that we have for small plugins, this is all like last day stuff, but apparently we can't avoid it.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. We might just change what we do on the last day. Maybe the last day will be how to defeminize this theme. That is not a word. Okay, so icons for lists, very simple and straightforward. You can add a color. If your list is like numbered, you can also put it in circles. You gotta finagle this a little bit. I plan on styling that a little bit better. But I personally just love it for this. Now, where do we have Okay, so here, when I'm not inside of the design settings, if you just go into list settings, we also added an option where you can say like that you want it to display an icon, for example, or some sort of text. So like text could be something like that, or it could be an emoji. This stuff isn't like default WordPress core. This is something that you would add through the small plugins that we have available, just because a lot of our clients are very used to having stylized lists. And that was something that was like, we can't give this up. If we have to switch from the classic editor to the block editor to like using full site editing, like we need our pretty lists.
And this
So,
is included
playlist.
with the deal, right? So they're getting Creator Plus. That includes all of the plugins as well.
I have to figure out how to deliver that, but yes.
Okay.
I
If
don't
it's
know.
not,
I don't know.
I just linked the plugins. I'm not sure. I know they're
So
getting
right now, no. The things that they purchase does not have that, only because I don't know how to do it. We can add that to everyone's like what they got for sure. I just have to figure out how we make that happen, technology backend.
Yeah. Might not be
Okay.
necessary.
I know we're hitting like we've got 30 minutes left. So I'm gonna do this other block, and then if I can keep doing another block after that, or if there's questions, I can answer any of those. Okay, so this other block, let me look at what I'm doing. We did this one. Oh, we want to do a highlight. This one is so easy. Even if I did something like, I'm going to maybe do something like that. I don't know. It's just so outrageously easy. I have a group. I put some text in it. I'm going to add some padding to it. Maybe to match the other one, I'll do some small padding, and then like I'm literally just gonna like copy this block and add it in. Now we have a header. Let's do some spacing. Let's make the font smaller. Oh, we wanted a list in this one as well, but this was a numbered list. Convert these to a list, make it numbered. Whoa, I did not make it numbered. There we go. I don't really want to mess with the styles of numbered lists right now, so I'm not going to do that. Does it kill you, Hannah? That's all I wanted was styled lists. What if I just do emojis? What if we make it cute with emojis? Compromise?
If I must.
Dang, you are so needy.
So salty.
That's the emoji you get.
Pink numbers would have been cuter. It's been so long since I've used pink.
Okay, actually, I meant to show that on the last block. Once you have a background on this, it's so easy to just change it to whatever you want.
Yeah.
Like, I think I'll do blue for this one. And then Hannah wanted this to like come up over it a little bit, and I want hard corners, so we're going to make that happen. I'm going to give this a dark blue background with white text. I'm going to change the padding. Oh, I'm going to shorten the title. We're going to put it inside of a row so that it's that shorter size again. I feel like it needs to be less tall. And then I'm going to center this and give it that negative margin. Oh no, it does not like that. The row cannot have a negative margin. What if the row is grouped? Can it have a negative margin? No. Something horrible is happening here. And I do not like it. All right, I'm gonna have to figure that out later. That's super weird to me. It must have to do with the fact that it's inside of a column. All right, I'll have to figure that out later. We're gonna have this title pull off a little bit. It's gonna be a little bit taller. but I'll have to actually look at the CSS, and I don't think you guys want to do that with me.
Don't make me.
Yeah. You want me to give you a pink heart or something?
I just really wanted my colorful numbers.
I'll do colorful numbers for you later.
Fine.
But right now they're too large, and so I want to make them smaller. So if I make them colorful now, they're going to look messy, in my opinion.
Okay.
Can I just give you a
so
pink
much
heart?
homework? I'm so sorry. Pink hearts are great. That's pretty cute.
I mean, I'm going to have to prioritize what I work on, but we're going to fix that title. It's driving me crazy. It needs work.
Tape it off. You did it.
Maybe if we make the bullet points into sentences again.
So we're leaning into creator theme as a theme that we can sell to the public because Lauren gets really caught in the tedium of custom sites. Is anyone surprised by this?
Yeah.
She can
I
make
just have a few
adorable
opinions.
template adoptions, but
Just imagine me getting this caught up on every single site that I touch.
every time.
Okay, that's already a little bit cuter.
Yeah.
It needs some more work. It needs something.
He's fine. Do we get one more block or are we reviewing other things?
Well, I think it's up to you guys. I know that
Jessica, that's so excited.
Yeah, Jessica's excited. I know Jessica's here. If you have any questions, Jessica, let me know. I think you had to leave around this time yesterday. So that may be the case again. And then I also saw a comment from Laura. So I don't know if Laura's still here and she has any questions or any specific block that you want to send in for me to build, because any block that I build will be included in this theme in the end. So you're definitely welcome to do that. I think that if anything comes in from those, then I would start with that information. But I do have 30 more minutes dedicated to this, so I'm happy to build some more. I'll wait a minute or two. Yes, table of contents will be a plugin. I already installed it on the site, so we'll be able to include it, but I have why don't I not have a table of contents screenshot? We're going to wing the table of contents. So we will do table of contents. I already have that plugin installed, so we'll definitely get there. Right now, we're just building out blocks that we're going to use: header, footer, home page, landing page, sales page, anything like that. Obviously, the post. So I'm going to make all the rest of these blocks. I'm going to add embellishments to all of the blocks. And I'm going to do all of that before 3 p.m. tomorrow.
Did we add a shop this post block to our list of things that we wanted or no?
We don't have that, but we can easily do it.
Plug-in day, right?
Yes. Sorry. We need to know, we need to remember we're going to do it on plugin day though, because I have to prepare content for that. We have to actually go in and add. When you're in the back end of the site, I already have the plugin installed. So this is Small Plugins, has a shop plugin. So you guys will get access to that. You can migrate from, I think we only support Shop WP right now. So if you were using Shop Page WP, it'll pull it into here. I'll add demo content, or rather Hannah will probably add demo content for us. And
on how it looks.
Yeah, once this is set up, then we'll create a shop this post page. Technically, you can do shop this page post with like just manual content. It doesn't have to be linked up to a shop like this, but I feel like this is killing two birds with one stone. And so if you're gonna do a shop this post block, I feel like you might as well put it into this organized structure, and then we can repurpose it. It just becomes so much easier to manage, in my opinion. You can have a shop page, you can have a shop category. If you decide that you want to change out your Vitamix for a Ninja blender, then you can just change that one item and it'll update in all of your posts. So I got opinions because I don't like doing things the hard way. That's a lie. I love doing things the hard way in the idea that it will be easier.
Long term.
Yeah. So yes, we will do a shop this post.
I remember with February Fridays, we worked on both of those blocks using DCB and automatic block inserter as well. Will that be discussed on Friday? Do I need to work on my entire Friday itinerary? Does it need to be a February Fridays thing and we just plan a separate group for all of that?
So the good news is, yeah, we could do February Fridays, huh? The good news is that I have 2 days dedicated to plugins. I have day 1 as like other people's plugins, and then I have day 2 as small plugins. So we can do different things. Like the shop can be on the last day versus earlier. It'll be like the recipe card and the table of contents, breadcrumbs, maybe. We'll probably end up doing those earlier, that sort of thing. Don't know about all the pink. Yeah, me neither, Laura. Me neither. But Hannah and Jessica love the pink. So maybe on day 10, we will talk about changing color schemes. Lauren will change it to a color scheme she wants. My color scheme would be like
Green.
dark blue, dark green. I do like our bright yellow, but like I like moody colors.
And I use the bright yellow too much. I'm like, everything should be yellow.
You do. And I'm like, you know what? Let me just add a black into this color scheme. I got distracted, but 2 days. Oh, I was not planning on doing dynamic connector block.
Okay.
I was planning on doing automatic block inserter. See, Laura's team moody. Laura, I got you. We're going to do a day where we just change the color scheme on the. Actually, we're going to do it right now. We'll undo it, but we're just going to show you how nice it is going to be to change this, because I mentioned you can change colors earlier, but we didn't actually do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I went to edit site. I'm going to this styles palette. We're going to go into colors, and then we're just going to change these colors here. And we're going to make the site something that Lauren would like. Like, maybe the green should sit closer to a blue. I need like a really dark green. Okay.
Lauren has harsh opinions on green.
I really like green, and I care a little too much. I'm not sure I like this green. Like I almost want a teal kind of vibe. Maybe there. Okay. So let's do green, and then I kind of just want to do a really dark blue, like a darker one. Ooh, maybe like a grayscale kind of blue. Yeah. Okay. I have no clue what this is going to look like. I should have done it on the order of those colors. Is there a template that shows which one lines up with what? I mean, which one would end up being used for links, etc.? Excellent question. I'm going to save this, and we're just going to look at it real quick. So what I think I can do is create a page for that, because I don't think that there is anything built in. So I know I haven't refreshed this, and you might really want to see it like I do, but if you are inside of the style editor and you click on this like eyeball, it opens the style book, and you can see what things are going to look like before you click save, but it only applies to like all of these default blocks. So you can see like not a lot is changing. It doesn't apply to all of the blocks on your site. So what I would need to do is create a page that shows all of the blocks filled out. And then you would have to like save these and then go refresh that page to see what it's going to look like. So like you can see the buttons. I think there is a text link somewhere. Here's an example link. It's like right now, this primary color I picked is going to be really hard to tell it's a link other than the underline. But the other thing to know is that even if I create that page and you change things here, you're not stuck with those colors wherever I put them. So like I showed you when you're editing the blocks, you can change out backgrounds. That was such a loud screenshot, Hannah.
I know, but I have to, okay, so I went to creator theme.
Oh, I hate it.
That's something.
My blues didn't change much, but my greens really did. Let me change it some more. I'm going to have to make that green way lighter. I have to close this. And I don't like any of these. Okay, what about this? For my green. I don't like this. That green, I know. This one's still going to be way too bright. Because we're using it for that background.
Okay, so when I am in the site editor, can you see this? Kind of, and how obnoxious I am.
Why did you even do that?
I don't know how to present, so you're getting a background.
There's literally a button that says share screen.
That's terrifying. It will tell you text, background, link, captions, button, heading, and you can choose like 2 different colors for link, 2 different colors for button, 2 different colors for heading whenever you're like in the style colors, and you can go and edit your palette. Is that what you renamed?
I don't know what you mean, what I renamed.
So whenever you like put a hex in and then you said pink, did you change that from text to be like pink background?
No, that's part of the like name I give it in some code. So I'll change it so it doesn't say pink. I'll change it to primary.
Okay.
So when you're looking here, this will say primary light, secondary light instead of the color name. Now that I know that you can't change the name, but when you're looking at settings elsewhere, it'll tell you text or background. And if you hover, like you'll see the palette. And when you hover over a color, it'll say primary, which is the name I gave it.
Click back out of edit palette. Click that arrow up top. Is that what you're asking for, Jessica? I mean, I know it's not super helpful, but for me, and I'm not a tech person, that's what I envision.
So I'm not even sure what you're talking about anymore.
Like you can set based on your palette, at least those elements to know what color they're going to be.
Yes. So even though by default the link is set to pink, you could change it that you actually want it to be blue. Yeah. Hey, do you like my green now, guys?
Give me my pink back.
No, let me play with it some more. What if I just make it a little more like gray and you can hardly tell it's green? And this, I just want this to be like really dark green, but it keeps looking black. That's looking better. Look at how bad this one looks though.
Ooh.
All right. I kind of like this like moody red brown color here. I think I would change this to be a little more tan. I don't know what you're hating on. I'm a master of colors.
Yeah, you are.
This still needs a little bit of work, but I'm just saying this is much more my vibe. Although I probably would also have removed the serif font and I would just have a bold sans serif for everything. So actually to show you that, I could do that pretty easily by going from colors to typography and then just saying in headings, instead of having the serif, give me my sans serif. Yep, looking more like Lauren already.
Sure does.
Okay, let's undo Lauren's changes. Hannah doesn't like my sans serif headings, and she hates my color choices.
It was fine. It's all fixable.
Reset colors, click save. See, Laura and I, after this theme, Laura and I are going to go make our own. We're going to go do a second one afterwards.
Good luck, Laura. Lauren is a lot.
Okay, but like seriously, how cool was it that we just changed like the site colors and theme? Jessica likes going back. But like how cool was it that we just did that so easily?
Yeah.
Like it needs some tweaking from there, but like so easy.
Helpful. And when you guys get stuck and you send an email in, I can fix it for you with little things like this sometimes. Whereas any of our classic clients that Lauren took care of for a decade, if they request any tweaks, I'm like, sorry, it's kid proof, child proof. Hannah can't touch anything on your theme. You must wait on the wizard. This is the curse of classic themes.
I just think block themes are so cool.
Cool.
Like it's cool because we can do it right now, but like once we get more people to actually use them and like understand them, then like your friend is going to be able to help you, or you're going to be able to help your friend. Like you're going to be able to teach a VA how to do this stuff, and it's just going to be so much more like available for everyone. But I feel like all the conversations online are like, it's not ready and it's too scary and like we can't do it. Yeah, but like
been doing it for 2 years now before sharing just a theme with the public. I mean, our clients have been doing this and it is preferred. It's ideal for everyone.
Yeah.
Speaking
I think we launched
our friends. Please
tell your friends. Tell everyone how cool it is.
I'm behind quota. I'm just the marketing girl and I'm really behind today, you guys. Yesterday was great. We exceeded all expectations, and today I need your friends.
She needs your friends. Our sales goal for yesterday was 5 people. And I think we got 10. And so Hannah was like, we're on top of the world.
We got 13. Thank you.
Okay. Well,
lucky number.
I know it's 5 p.m., Hannah, but we need another 5 today.
Thanks. I'm in trouble. Look, that price increase from what, $1 to $4, $5?
It's $5 right now. It's
broke the budget.
The budget has been busted.
Our ideal client apparently pays $1 hair. That's not
That's okay. If people love this and they use it, like
so worth it.
At least let's get some momentum going because we've been doing this for like a year. And the only people that want to do it are people that have worked with us previously. But I want everyone to love this. Okay, so there's like 12 minutes left. Do you guys have any questions, or do we want to do one more block, or do we all want to go eat dinner? This is what Hannah and I do in calls when the internet starts breaking up and we don't know if the other person's still there.
That's a very subdued version, actually. I won't do the one that I normally perform. Yeah, a lot of movement.
Yeah.
Yeah, my attention span is gone. Cool.
Yours is done. Jessica's got to go. I was like, I'm about to do one more.
Oh, Laura, she wants one more. She said your call.
I want to do one more. I think I want to do this one. Can I do this one real quick?
I don't know how you're going to do them. Make it happen.
I don't know either. Cool. Okay, let me do that one. And
looks like a very mobile block.
It is, but I'm not going to make it actually look like that. Like it's inspiration, but it's going to look awesome. So this one is really, really good for using in posts to recommend other posts. Let's do, I think Lemon Blossoms has it live on her site. I don't know which post though. This definitely looks like it has blocks in it. Okay, so like kind of like this, but we're gonna do them all stacked.
Okay.
All stacked works really well. This is already gonna be all stacked on mobile, but I feel like all stacked looks really good for people who have long post titles. So like if all of Kathy's post titles were this long, then like having them full width would look good. I feel like having them all stacked kind of like takes up more vertical space, which like may be good or may be bad, but if you're recommending posts and you want them to go to them, I feel like that extra vertical space is probably worth it to get the extra time on site. And so I want to do them all on top of each other. We obviously won't do a border or a drop shadow, but we'll try and use color or something else to pull attention to, I think, just like the first one, or maybe just like a random one in there to confuse people. And that sounds a little bit terrible, but I think it's going to be great. So because I primarily picture this being used inside of a post, I'm going to use the same like side-by-side view just so we can see it thinner. And we're going to start new. I'm going to cheat and I'm going to copy row posts inside of this column. And we're going to completely redo it.
Oh, you always stress me out when you do this. You're going to zoom through so fast too. She's showing off her fast clicking, guys. This is what
clicking.
A decade developing does for you. Fast clicks.
I've only been doing these themes for like a year and a half.
Mm-hmm. So it's actually just all of your time spent on video games?
I'm very good at video games. I did play some just last night.
Just not competitive ones.
I like to win, and it's more fun for everyone involved. Oh, because this is a query loop, I can't emphasize just the first one. Okay, we'll ditch that for now. We still have fun. We still have fun stuff we can do. Okay. This image is going to be a fixed size of 150 pixels. And we have to do our little flex shrink hack. Padding on the right-hand side, a little less. What is the block spacing on this? 2, let's make it 3. Okay, and then this title is going to, so before that title, we're gonna add an icon and some text. No, don't worry, I'm gonna fix it. Don't panic, it's okay. Here we go, let's left align this stuff. You know what I want that to look like? This thing I deleted earlier. So we're gonna just go copy this row and then just replace this paragraph. New.
He's cute.
Right? He's looking good.
Add your icon. Is it a heart? New.
Okay, I have to fix, there's rounded corners on this. So I need to fix the rounded corners so I don't see that little patch right there. I think I need to make the title a little bit larger because I'm using, you don't have to use portrait images here, but I am. So I'm going to make the title a little bit larger and see what that looks like. I'm going to decrease the spacing between them. And I was maybe not going to use an icon because I had put this here, but let's see what it looks like if we do both an icon and that. Okay, so first of all, decrease that spacing. Our title a little bit larger. Might look silly now. We'll see. And then before this or after this paragraph, one or the other, add an image. We'll make, look, I have a star I can use. I might have to fix the star. Let's see. Yeah, I can't see the star. So for SVGs, in certain situations, but not all situations, to make it perfectly confusing, you have to give it a set width. Do you like the icon, Hannah? Yay or nay? I think
like that mean teacher that catches me not paying attention and asks a question.
Why did it have to be a mean teacher? Why couldn't it have just been a teacher?
You were probably a really good teacher, huh?
I think I'll probably change out the icons.
Yeah.
When I work on things. I think the solid icon is not working for me, and the whole thing feels very feminine, and so I'm going to end up giving it feminine icons. So they're going to be like thinner lined ones. So that's probably going to happen when I'm offline doing all of my homework.
That's tough.
This is okay. It's just okay to me. It needs something, but the last thing I'm probably going to do, other than remember to fix those corners, is I'm probably just going to add some space on the bottom of this title to force this to be centered a little bit higher. Because right now it's centered like around all of this. This is what's centered. But I want this top piece to be higher a little bit. So to do that, I'm just going to add some space to the bottom of this title. Force it upwards. Not that much. And then, Hannah, your typing is so loud.
I try to mute myself.
I'm sorry, probably.
It's aggressive, is how she describes it.
She is aggressively typing. I think maybe this needs to be 8. I like this better personally. I'm not sure I like the icon. I'm just going to delete it for now. Cool. So this could go as related posts inside of your article. Or it could be like, so you could, because you'll have a plugin that says, we talked about this query loop earlier, that says you can pick by post. So you could come in here where there will be another setting and you could pick the exact 4 posts you wanted. You could say that you want to display like 12 of just like the latest posts. It goes on and on. You could say that you want them to be like from a specific category. So whatever post, if you're doing appetizers, you could say latest post from appetizers and then just say, but exclude the current post. And it'll refresh without that current post. So I think that's a good one to stop on. I like it. And then I will plan on making more blocks tonight and tomorrow because, well, actually tomorrow is the header, right?
I think so, yeah.
So for the header footer, we're going to be like doing stuff from scratch anyway, okay. And moving things around and talking about like user testing. So I don't even have to have these done by tomorrow. So now I have 2 whole days before we have to do the homepage. Okay. All right. Let's wrap it up. I will send a notice in our Facebook group about call for feedback for tonight. And then tomorrow we'll do header and footer and we'll be live at the same time. Everyone that was here today, I hope you guys join us again tomorrow and that you're excited about this and tell everyone else to be excited as well so that we can bring them into the fold.
Yes, tell your friends.
All right. Sounds good. Everyone have a good night.
Guys. See y'all tomorrow.